actually live.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we live.
Hi guys, welcome back to another Overthrow Disc Golf form review live stream. If you're watching this on playback and you want your form reviewed, it's helpful to get eyes on it, right? Because you can see what's wrong, but what's the thing that you should probably work on first? That's my job, is to push you in the right direction. It's your job to fix it. This all is part of our $15 Patreon tier, which gets you one form review every month. So, and those happen twice a month. So you can join whenever and just slide your form in the next review. Cool. We got a short one today. We've only got 8 people on here right now. Who was it that needs to give us access? Disc for today's review that I'm going to be holding is we have 4 of these dynamic Lucid Air Justices. It's 171 grams and feels like an absolute dream on forehand for me. A little puddle top. I've been missing an overstable forehand disc to where I can put some ante on it and have it hit flat or have it come out. So if all 4 of them are bought during this live stream, then they're bought. And if there are any left, I'm taking one for myself because I need it. So trying to fill that slot. Who?
Bully Julie.
And Bully Julie, if you're here, you need to grant us access to your Google Drive file. All right, here we go. Tonio. Okay, we got a couple people ready to go. It's a forehand. Yes. Uh-huh. The upper body's not looking bad. What I want you to see, so clean release. I do wonder if your grip, if you're sitting it in your hand like here, instead of all the way in the web of your finger here, it just looks like there might be a little bit of movement there, right? So if you've got a disc, check your grip right now. Make sure it's all the way there. Right? You don't have to go with the pew-pew. Okay. So then the question is, in terms of clean release, your wrist needs to be all the way back, but you're also having this problem. You see right here where your hand's popping up like this? See how it's nose up? You're going here and your nose up, and then you're having to pop it back down, right? That's going to have to pull your hand off of the shot, right? This is not forward through whatever angle you're going on. So if we look at, getting serious. If we look at popping a forehand clean, the important thing is that your wrist pops in your forearm, right? And your forearm is popping on the angle that you're throwing, right? So you have to have, if your grip is good, this would be like an anhyzer, for example. You can tell because my forearm's on an anhyzer, right? So I'm going to pop like this way, and my hand needs to pop directly in there. When you go nose up, sorry, I'll go flat instead, right? So here's flat. When you pop your hand up like this, you cannot purely pop into your forearm. You have to roll it, and now you're switching the angle and the disc is moving, not aerodynamically, right? There's no chance, because if you just went like this, right, obviously this isn't going to pop out clean because your hand's not popping in the correct direction. You're overcomplicating the move. It's just here, in. My forearm supinates right at the hip point every time. Then I have to correct. Yeah, you are correct. So you already kind of know the issue. Yeah, you just got to practice here like this. And that's not, wow. I'm going to try forehand lefty. But any sort of cues, I just start here, dude. Just start with your hand here. It can be, I like this little angle here, this kind of roller angle, because it's really easy to understand for a lot of people. If you were trying to roll on a table, and you're trying to go and roll like that, and get spin in the direction of where you're going, you would naturally do that if you were trying to roll it, right? So I get a lot of people to just start here and just get the wrist popping down portion just here. Let's see if I can do it lefty. It's weird. I can, because just that simple motion there, right? And if I can do it lefty, you can probably do it righty. That's clean spin. It's only that move. Isolate that move first. And then after doing that for a while, you can have this move happen. Now you can start moving the next piece of the chain, which would be forearm, right? And the elbow's able to move freely. So now we've got this pop happening. And now let me move this. Clean, clean. And you can feel a clean hit off your finger. Right? And then you can start working it down these other lanes, right? These other angles. Boom, boom, boom. And you can start working with different waist angles. Right? So here, this would be a chop lefty forehand. That's clean hit. Right. I think instead of the off shoulder, like look, first you need to learn how to pop the ball, right? You're going, right? There are big form pieces that can happen, but to avoid those form pieces, why don't you just start from the hit and work back? So regarding clean hit, that's what I would do. But you know your problem, basically. You just have to go smooth enough. If I can build it right here lefty, there's no reason you can't build it. Right? It's not like I've ever done this before on the left-hand side. I'm only doing it because the net's here and you guys are there. Right? But that's a clean hit. That's what you need. And then you start building other stuff. My off arm is dead right now. Right? Eventually I'd start working getting this off arm across and building the next part of the chain. This is the first part. Then we go from the hit, which would be here, right? And then what's next after that? If you go backwards from the top of the chain, it would be shoulders, right? So eventually, I would get to that thing that you read or watched from Sheldon, right? Where I would turn this off arm over here and then learn, right? Wow, lefty's so weird. Not bad, actually. You've got footwork problems for sure. You've got other problems, and you can see a cajillion other problems if you want. I can see a cajillion other problems, but do you think I shouldn't be seeing the elbow leading like that? You're thinking too much. You need to get a clean hit here. Yeah. Start here. And then after you get this, and you can get clean pop to where you're throwing, then we can worry about the other stuff. Yeah, but right now you're missing the basic. Everything else could go right. You can get absolutely every other form piece correct. But if you mess up where this hand is popping, you start popping this way with the hand, it's not going. You start going, boom, like that. I don't care if your arm speed is 85 miles an hour. The disc is not going anywhere, right? So start here, and then we can start seeing the effect later. Yeah, we're starting from, like, let's start from where the water's coming out of the hose, and then work back there to find kinks later. It's like, oh, maybe my computer's not working. What's the first thing they ask you? Is it plugged in and is the power on? It's like, you don't need to go into the inner workings of the machine first. Like basic, this here. Everything leads to this. And then you start, okay, the power's not on, and then you start going more and more back through the basic things, same way. What? No, stop asking me that. I was talking to my iPad, not to you guys. Stop asking. Okay, who is next, Mikey? Gil?
No, French bear.
Well, poke. Oh my gosh. No. How do I turn off this prompt? That used to happen with, oh my gracious. But I don't. I hate when apps do this.
It's just members of the team, which is no, you don't have any members of the team.
It's still annoying. Haha. Okay, here we go. This looks very European for some reason. The location seems very European. The way that the turf is, I don't know. It just seems that way. It's Norway. I've never been to Norway, but I love Norway. Yeah, the hips, it just looks like the hips are getting very locked out here. Kind of starting here. It's just like the epitome of flat. So some posture stuff, I would say first. Well, he's not moving to, so I did look at the line that he was walking first and thought, okay, is there something that's happening here that's making it, like, is he swaying back and forth, making it so that his hips get locked out? But he's generally going in the direction that he's throwing. See? It's not like he's throwing over here, right? So he's not locked out because of the direction of his walk up. But it's always a good thing to look for. Yeah, I was kind of eyeballing that myself, but I don't think that that's the issue. I think he just gets a little too stagnant on this left side. Sorry. Yeah, on this left side, because the walk up, you're here, and this gets very like straight and locked out moving right here. Right, and then we get kind of wide. The more that your like knees flare out away from each other, and you're not doing it bad, but you can see the pressure go kind of like, instead of being on the toe here, and instead of the knees kind of going more into each other like this, you can see that it goes a little bit towards like the middle or back of the foot here, and then you get kind of here-ish, right? When you have your feet flared out away from each other, your knees flared out away from one another, your hips can't move freely. I know you talked about struggling to get your hips involved. I think it's probably best in most cases to not think about getting your hips involved, but setting them up so that they're free to move. Because right here, you can feel how much mobility you have, even if you let your feet move, right? They don't really want to move that much because you can kind of sit in the heels a little bit here when you flare your feet out, right? But once we start flaring our feet in and our knees in towards each other, now our hips have a lot of range of motion, right? And that's what we want, is we want to plant the lower body, and we want the hips to be able to freely move. We plant the base, and then when we move the arm, the hips are able to move. Not that we go and we move them, but that they're free to do whatever they want, which hopefully is, stay out of the way of the arm and all that going. So I would look at posture first, and I would try to get kind of solid through here with your butt a little bit more out. Don't be so upright here, the body, but butt a little bit more out. Hips, like bend at the hips. Bend here so that we can stay towards this left toe. And that allows us to get the hips back a little bit. Right? And you don't need to go this far back. This is just how I'm set up. But the hips can go back, and they can go kind of in towards each other like this. And now, because of that, your hips not being locked out, you'll do a lot less spinning around, because from here with your hips locked, the only way that they can get around is if you go and force them around like that. Right? But here, when you plant and you throw, the hips are able to move around on their own. Right? So see here what I'm talking about. You see how how it's kind of flared out from each other? It looks like very immobile. And now watch how your hips have to swing all the way around here. It's like they're locked out, and then your body goes, let's turn all the way around here so that the hips aren't just locked here and holding us back. Let's force them around a little bit. So I'd like to see more on the toes. More on the toes here, so that we can turn this butt back to the target during this last step a little bit, right? And now, since we've created this space over the shot here, we can move the hand freely through, and then the hips can rotate. Now, yeah, that kind of changes the topic entirely. That's like super pertinent information. If you have a mental guard, like knee pain, first off, knee pain is nothing to be taken lightly. You've got to get that figured out, and that's not my job. So take care of that. But also, if you're forcing your hips to come around like this, it's going to force your knee to twist. So trying to have a hard plant with your feet open like that is going to be tough on your knee anyways. So, like when people have knee pain and they've got a mental block there, which is very real, like I'm not surprised when I see people go like this. Right? Because that lets me rotate that foot and keeps the pressure kind of off that knee. Right? And there are some people who that might really be the best thing for them, because no matter how, you can get a plant really efficient, but it's still not going to be a super easy move on the body. Right? Putting that pressure and taking your entire body weight to a full stop like that and cutting over, it's like Roger Federer was the most graceful, probably efficient tennis player of all time. And he's had 2 knee surgeries. It's like, you're not going to get more efficient than Roger Federer. It's just, sports are tough on the body. I don't know if it'll be an hour. It might be close to that. But that's kind of the form stuff, right? And if you're spinning around like that, well, it makes sense why you're kind of flat, right? Spinning form tends to be very flat versus being on a hyzer plane and doing that. So you've got to navigate that with someone who knows more about knees than I do, or someone who's willing to make an opinion on that, which I'm not willing to do on YouTube as a random YouTube disc golf coach. There's a good buddy of mine, John, from Ace at Disc Golf. He got into coaching, or he had huge knee problems. He might be somebody worth talking to about his personal journey. You can find him on, I guess you can comment on his YouTube videos, or you can find him on Reddit as user Ace at Disc Golf. Here's another one where we're looking at the lower body being flared out like that. Right? And because it's locked out, now you're spinning all of your form around, right? You can't go through the pocket because the lower body's not going to let you do this. So either you have to go to a standstill and then work on the lower body and then back into that, or you fix the lower body here and then start fixing up upper body later.
Okay. Bully, I need access. He's here.
Bully. Who is that? You mean Himuli?
It's two. Standalone and Bully Julie.
Okay. Bully Julie, you need to grant Mikey access to your Google Drive. Because as of now, your video is not in here because he can't see it. So you need to share that link with him, or you need to make it so that anyone with the link has access. Yeah, so option 1 to work on this would be stand still. So what I'm talking about with the upper body is look how your disc is going with the form. Or with the trail shoulder. Your disc is going around like this. It's doing that because your hips are locked out of the shot because they're out like this. And so you have to, it's your body trying to force your hips into the shot. Okay, so usually if I'm working with a student for a long time, or if I know that I'm going to be working with them for a long time, like they've got a couple months at least, I will start this form change off with starting them actually from the front leg so we can take the hips and allow them to be kind of mobile here. And so be here, and then learn to move the hand through, right? That's option 1. You can go through our backhand playlist and see that option if that's the way you go. I'm going to give you option 2 just because you already have a walk-up and I'm seeing you on a form review. You're not like a student. So problem is your hips are here. Solution is we've got to learn to turn our butt to the target here, right? And I think the best way to do this, well, I'm not going to say it's the best way, but a way that I've really been liking for this. Can they see me over here, Mikey? Okay. I put a door frame on my left side. This is a sea bass drill that I know exists that I haven't watched in a while, and I'm kind of modifying it. Maybe I'm not modifying it. I have no clue. But he's got a drill called load the bow, and it's something like this. But basically, you set up with your left shoulder against the wall here. Have your right hand not super high. Have it somewhere kind of lower here between kind of like maybe above your belly button somewhere if you have one of those. Lift your right leg off the ground. We've got kind of this posture where our butt's out. We're not just like stiff like a board here. And then you trust fall backwards, right? And you let your butt go backwards and you let your shoulders go backwards, right? And that should turn your hips back like this, right? And now you've got the knees kind of into one another that way, right? Boom, like that. So, and then you learn to do that off the frame. Boom, like that. And now your body's set up and your hips are free to move. You're ready to go to the front leg. Yep, there's an extended, modified version of this, but it won't happen quite yet. I'm thinking about doing a video where I take my favorite drills from other coaches and I put them in and I show modifications and stuff. I've got a couple drills that I have seen from other coaches that I use for sure that I think are just sick. What they say in other coaching communities is steal like an art thief. I guess I'd say steal and modify accordingly to the student.
Who is that?
That was Gil.
Okay, so X, Rage next.
And by the way, on that, I didn't even show like weight shift stuff because I think first step is just getting like turned during that step. So yeah.
getting Bully Julie in as well.
Okay.
Bully Julie.
Bully Julie. He said Deadly is next. Deadly. When he hears a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Oh, look, a felony. So this is interesting because you definitely have a downslope, right? I mean, your garage is sitting up above your net. Just from a practice habit standpoint, I think this would be difficult. Like, this is a suboptimal setup because it's kind of forcing you to throw down. But the other thing is kind of a downhill setup, I guess, could be good because you would learn, like, you would know it's downhill, so you would probably try to post up harder on your front leg and not try to go past it. Yeah, because it's downhill. You're like, I know if I blow past this brace, I eat concrete here. So kind of optimal in that way. And I think I've seen people say, like, yeah, if you can plant going downhill, you can brace well. I think I remember Seabass saying that at one point. I read it somewhere. So not a bad trick to help you stay posted up behind. Yeah, you see how you're like fighting to stay back? It's actually a good thing to practice the brace, or it can be a good thing. So there's just that. Okay, my issue last time was trying to keep my elbow up and out and have my hand come through fully. Okay, let's see. The elbow is up. Yeah, it's through. Yeah, it's through. I would say the eyes are getting a little zealous going forward here, right? Watch this. The eyes are trying to find the target right away. To really cement that form, I think you still need time on this, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into some details here on the same kind of path. But let's look at this, right? And this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is all kind of like, okay, we can focus on one thing and it can get as good as it gets, right? Without looking to what the left arm's doing and what the head's doing. Probably not going to get this thing in its full realization. Your brace actually will help have these slide through more as well. But yeah, the head, so the head goes back because this right shoulder goes back, right? And our attention ends up being, well, for me, I keep my attention back here. Like mentally, it's back here. And this is why when you have people like, oh, keep your eyes on the disc. It's like, okay, pros don't usually do that, but the feel of that is like a good thing, I think, when you take your disc back. When you go here, the head goes here and that gets you a nice stretch backwards. Right? And from here, you move the hand forwards, and I think you try to keep your head down and cover the shot here, like that. And that allows your hand to truly pass your body. Once you start going like this, you start kind of lifting up the plane a little bit, and you start pulling this sucker off to the right a little too much. So stay over it with the eyes, and then we need to work on this left hand coming in tight as well. So when this right hand starts coming in, this left hand's got to get forward too and get tight to the body, right? Because if this left hand was all the way back here, for example, and you came here, well, now this left hand, like, you can only go so far before your body wants to start pulling this weight around, right? So we've got to get this in here tight so that we can stay in the pocket even a little bit longer and get it in here. So, right, get it tight. Boom. Just start working on that move together. And it's more about, you know, the elbow getting in tight to the body here. And the hand, whether the hand from the elbow back goes in like this or whether it drops down with it. You can mess with that timing a little bit, but we want to make sure that this thing's not back here just dragging us here, right? An extreme example would be if I was here and my chest stayed back, like I can't go further than this before I have to start going around. And now it's putting on the brakes too early. So you're kind of putting on the brakes a little bit too early. Certainly not as bad as I just showed. You can kind of get the concept in your head. Hey Josh, I think I'm having issues getting into my power pocket and going through the hit smoothly and staying flat. Can you mention a drill so I can smooth this robot arm? Well, yeah, first off, flat is probably like, if I could get people to not focus on one thing, it's throwing the disc flat. It's like this is one of the most unimportant aspects of disc golf. And people trying to throw a disc flat ruin so many form pieces. It's like throw it on a hyzer and use a flippy disc if you have to. First off, that's kind of like a thing. I'm like, why did disc golfers? And you're not the only one. It's just so many people. It's like, just stop trying to throw flat. Throw on hyzer. Show me a pro throwing an actual flat shot, and we're good. And maybe you meant a straight flight path, right? Which also I think don't worry about too much. Yeah. So, you need to get this, and then through the hit smoothly. You need to stop subdividing those steps now. It goes from, the reason you're robo is because you're thinking step 1, step 2, and your brain has to go step 1, complete, task switch, step 2, right? Just this is why pros talk about, throwing the disc on a line, is because they've got one swing thought, the linear swing thought that gets them through all this, right? If I try to move the disc directly forward on my line, what happens? I only move it forward, 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 forward. Guess what? I'm deep pocket now because I'm just trying to move the disc forward. And then what happens? My elbow starts dropping behind me and I'm already going towards the hit and my arm's straightening out, right? And then follow through. So yeah. All right.
So Salat times and then Bully Julie.
Yeah, see, this is kind of what I think. Like, the attention here is kind of in the right spot. It's like, get kind of backwards. When they're like, just walk up backwards. It's like, this is kind of the feel. Like, the feel of that is correct. Got some more Europeans, huh? Some Thomas Gilbert looking form. Now, a couple things. The body position, the body posture is not correct. It's very up and down, right? And the reason that you can't do it differently is because this foot's probably a little too far back, right? And you are falling back, but it really needs to be this toe here that stays down, not rolling from the toe to the heel. Right? But you actually have a good sense about the throw, which is nice. but we just need to get it all in the right direction posture-wise because it's messing some other stuff up. So the throw happens. Let me first show. Where's it at? Oops. Hello? I got it. I got to thank my buddy Chris Taylor for this. This is going to be, okay. So by the way, at some point, so Chris Taylor was in charge of the distance comp. At some point, that is going to be on Disc Golf Network, I believe. You need to watch that. You need to get that stuff in your mind. You've got to just like look at pro form and see how they move and understand from a feeling perspective how they move. It's very, very important. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, hey, you know Henna Lamarus? He was having like form stuff. He was having posture stuff. Same thing, actually. And he was going, I was like, you know Henna? You know what she does? And he goes, oh yeah, how she does this thing right here? And I was like, yes, be Henna. And then the guy starts throwing great. It's like, it's really helpful if you have that kind of stuff in your mind, right? That kind of posture. And I wish I had Henna on here. But I've got Eliezra. So, again, when that comes out, we need to show our support for that because it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be a huge, awesome resource. So watch where the tilt is. You see the body tilt here? Whew. Right? The shot happens over here. Over here. It does not come from behind us. Right? Josh, that's really confusing because I'm pretty sure I see her disc behind her. But look at where her swing happens. Look at where her posture is saying that the shot happens. Don't look at just where the hand's at and just where the arm's at. Look at where she's leaning over. The shot is happening here. Also, imagine throwing that close to someone's face staring directly at you. Here we go. So look at the difference. The shot is happening behind. The attention is in the correct place here, right? You need to turn the shoulders back and you need to have the butt turned back, right? But the place that the posture needs to lean is this way. If this person Salaminates, sorry, I don't remember the name. If they bent at the waist, where would they be? They would be here, which is the incorrect place, right? So actually, this would be way worse for them if they bent properly at the hips because of where the foot's at. It puts behind here, which means that you have to go whoop, and turn your body that way, right? So instead, what we want to do is when we get here through this X step, we want to keep, when we get side on, this is where the shot happens, over here, right? We do our initial steps and then boom. This is where the shot's going to take place. This is where our posture is over. If there were a chair, I would go. There's a chair. Let's do it. Okay, I'll go here. I'm going to go step, step, side on. It's here, cross step, here, right? And now the shot goes forward from here, right? It's not here, 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 and pull it around that way. It's too much energy to spin. It needs to be here, here, boom, right here. And now we can get our cross step, and now we've got this posture bent at the waist, and so this foot doesn't need to go all the way back because now that pulls it here. It needs to be here, and now here. Now our attention can go behind us, but since we set up properly, boom, boom, here, here, instead of here, here, we wait a step, and now we go behind us, but it's only kind of behind us. It stays this way, right? And that's why staying on the toes happens, right? We go here, toe, stay on the toe, here. If you go here, back, you cannot stay on the toe. It rolls backwards. That's why I'm saying you got to stay on the left toe. It's kind of chicken and egg here. The back foot toe reposition to counterbalance. The back foot toe reposition. The back foot toe, it's here. Once this left foot goes down, the purpose of having this on the toe here is its ability to turn the hip. Here. If you are on your heel here, you cannot turn the hip without falling off the line. The toe allows us to keep the space here where it's supposed to be. Get on your toes, basically keep that space here. And then turn back as far as you're thinking about turning back, which will not be quite as far because the setup will be a little different. Bully Julie. Can't do that with my own hands. So many Europeans. I love it. Wow, look at this T-pad, Mikey. Wow. A good thing it's not all that wood that's on the back. Dude, imagine how far you would throw if this was every T-pad. Nope.
Oh, gosh.
You two must practice together. You both could have sent in one form review. I could have saved you some money. It's always funny, people who practice together that have the same problem. You literally have the same exact problem. No cap. All riz. Yeah, it's the same problem. Watch. It's a little too far back, and then what happens? Bloop. Here goes the toe, lifting up. The hips are locked out a little bit, causing you to go around. That's good though, because now you guys get to practice the solution together. It's nice to have somebody practicing the same thing that you're practicing. It just not quite as nice when you pay for 2 form reviews. So I'm not going to spend the time here because we just spent it, but what I'm going to let you do instead is the next session of form reviews Actually, that doesn't work either.
You can send in a second one.
Yeah, send in a second one. Send in a forehand or something next time. I was just thinking, it's like you're going to practice this and fix this in 2 weeks? No shot.
I mean, you can do it in 1 day. You spent like 9 hours working on it.
You got to, if you get it different by the next time, send in another form review. For free. Sounds good to me. Okay, who's next, Mikey? All right. Alex27995. Are you using a tennis court for this? What is this speck on the lens? That is just dog. There's a lot going on here. It's a gnat. Yep. Ugh. Okay, to the video. We've seen the gnat. We've seen the tennis court. We've seen the dog. We're ready to go. Whoa. That's an extreme flare there.
Hey, yo. He knows the hack.
It's not helping him, though.
I'm trying that today.
That is some insane. I mean, can my wrist even do that?
He's doing something to get some extra range. Yeah, he pronates it.
Bro. Nope, that's way too much wrist mobility. With the watch on. What on earth? You're going to have to get a bigger watch to stop that from happening. I remember someone saying that they had that or Brian Earhart was telling me that he was in a clinic one time with Yuli, and the person was like, I've got that problem, basically. And Brian gives like this elaborate answer on how to fix it. And then he's like, Yuli? And Yuli's like, have you tried taping your wrist? Like just duct taping it? I'm not suggesting that, by the way. Wrist movement is good. This is just a little extreme. Yeah, so we need to learn the lead arm move here. The elbow is quite tight to the body. Right, and that's kind of an issue here, is like this is allowing you, or it might have been even created because your elbow was so tight to the body, right? And this is you forcing the disc to be out away so that it can pass without hitting yourself in the chest. Like if you had a normal wrist here with this same form and elbow position, you would hit your body, which is not fun. And I've definitely done that at about 65 miles an hour before, and it definitely hurt. Okay, so my vote would be to learn the lead arm movement slowly at first. So here, go into your backswing. I'm just on my front leg here. And calmly, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Very calmly, move your arm forward, and we're going to go from an uncurled arm, and then we're going to curl the disc up kind of towards our right pec here, but it's going to be curled like this. Sorry, can you see that with my hat in the way? So it would be uncurled, curled, And now it's going to start uncurling. So the disc, we basically go from not hiding the disc back here to hiding more and more and more and more. And then let it uncurl. And just, if you do that, if you kind of curl it inside your elbow like this, you've got space for it. And your elbow is going to stay away from the body. Right? So I can kind of do that. So here, curl it in, continue moving forward. We shouldn't see here it like popping underneath and then whipping, or here and trying to go over. It just needs to curl inside and then continue moving forward. Curl inside, continue moving forward. Right? And you do that at slow speeds. I've got to go with some speed here so that I don't grip lock it into the door behind me. But here, curl, go. Okay. Right, and you're probably going to need to do it slower than that. Again, I'm only doing it at that speed at first when I actually start throwing, because if not, I'm going to grip lock the thing super behind me. Right, so here, all the way through like that. You got to learn to have space for the disc to come through the pocket. All right, next is J-Buzz. No way, no how. By the way, I don't know if anybody's bought any yet, but we've only got 2 reviews left. And if there are any of these left, these are Lucid Air Justices. If there are any of these left by the time this live stream is over, I'm taking one. So you pick whether you want one or you want me to have one. It's a win-win for me. So just letting you know what my thought process is moving forward here. Wait, is it one step? It is one step. Okay. Okay, so the body angle is changing a bunch, right? So look at this kind of backwards lean here. And then watch the body kind of stand up and start moving this way. So he's got bend at his hips now, right? And now, here it is. He's very straight up with the upper body here. Yeah, kind of whipping the body back and forth. So the way that I like to do this drill, and I showed this a little bit earlier, I'll modify it for you here since you're throwing, but I like to take Seabass's ye old door frame drill, grab somewhere kind of here, get your bend forward, right? If your body's up against the door frame, you can no longer bend back this way because there's a wall there, right? So it kind of forces you to be stacked correctly. So here, lift up your right leg. I'm not standing straight up like a board. Here, and now slowly fall away from the door. Notice my right leg is not weight bearing right now, but we're here. Right, so here, like this. Right, your body is going to move away from the wall. It's going to be centered, right? It's not going to be like this. Right, it's not going to be like this. The upper body stays centered between the legs. Right. Here. Right, and then you learn to do that off the wall. Bands. Here's my wall. Off the wall. Centered checking. I can check with video camera. I can look down. Right? And now I'm going to do my weight shift in here for good practice. I don't expect you to be able to do that right away. And then from here, the hand goes. Hand goes. You can look at the person before you and see the proper movement for the hand. But here, hand goes. Right? But do it slow like that. Don't break this drill by going, okay, so this is what I'm not telling you to do, but you're going to want to do. Don't do this. You're going to want to go like this. My instruction was go here, turn, check. This is all real time. This is a 20-second process, each throw. I weight shifted, throw. When you do this the first time, everything in your body's going to say, oh, Josh did it in 20 seconds. I bet you I can do it in 2. Don't do that. All right? Your body is not helping you right now. It's a liar. Here. Off the wall. Check. Body posture. Check. I'm not standing up at the waist. I'm here. Et voila. That is the practice. You got them. PCW numbers. So the setup's looking super solid through here. Now watch the posture change. Right here. Watch this. See the stand up? The stand up and the sit back? Standing up here, she's starting to fall back off of this. The knees are starting to flare out here. Right, and that always pulls the disc close to the body, by the way. When you kind of fall back off of it. And then big spin. Not the skateboarding trick. By the way, isn't Yuto just laying down some crazy tricks right now? Yep, stay in this posture right here. You've got good posture right here. You see how the bend is happening this way? The butt's out. You're ready. Stay in this. And then what happens? Here's the butt starts getting underneath the torso here. We lost all that beautiful bend because the butt popped back towards us. And because of that, the hips got locked out as well. Just hold it right there. Lefty. Right, so you're here. This is great. You've got this nice, your butt is out. You're covering the shot this way. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't go here and whoop, stand up. Right, you stand up, you start bringing the disc back here, and now the space is up top again, and the disc wants to be here on your chest, and now your weight wants to go back towards your heels, starts opening up your hips. Here, cross, stay down, stay over the shot here, and now stay over it. Stay low. Get your butt swinging towards the target here. Right, now you're over the shot. Weight shift, throw the hand. But you got to stay in that posture that you had. Just standing up too early. Over, over, over. Watch this. See, it's over. Over, over, stay over. Yes. Good job, Simon. You did it. All right, staying over. Still over. You see how it's still, the space is still here. It's been here all along. You're just finally able to see. Right. Stay over it. That's it. Did everybody buy the Lucid Justices? All right, it's mine now. Mine now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you're watching this on playback, I'd really love to know what it is you do when you watch these videos. Like, are you cooking? Are you lifting weights? Are you on a treadmill? Are you at work and it's just on in the background? What is it that you do when you watch these? Because personally, I don't even want to rewatch these. So I'm really interested in what you weirdos out there are doing, because I'm pretty weirdo. Maybe that means you guys are the normal ones. Probably not. All right. Peace. Join our Patreon if you want to be seen on video.